got to the end of it yet, but it does look like it's going to be a record-breaking summer. We started breaking those records in May with daytime temperatures and also nighttime temperatures, some of the first tropical nights. We've seen that earlier in the year. That's a night when temperatures dropped no lower than 20 degrees Celsius. June was also very, very hot. July, we didn't break the record. That was 40.3 at Coningsby on the 22nd of July, the 19th of July, 2022. But we're back again to some very high temperatures, the fifth heat wave of the year. Now, of course, measuring heat waves like this becomes quite complex because certain parts of the country reach heat wave thresholds and then they drop back. And certainly for parts of the north and the west, it's been anything but a heat wave this summer. They've actually seen fairly grey skies, cool temperatures and a fair amount of rain. Scotland at the weekend saw about half a month's worth of rain, all in a couple of days. So it's a bit of mix and match, as you'd expect for an island. But here we are, looking at the fifth heat wave of the year with temperatures set to reach an extraordinary 36 or 37 degrees Celsius. Now, this time the heat is coming up from the near continent. It's because we've got high pressure over the country. It's working its way out into the North Sea. And if you remember from your geography lessons that winds go clockwise around high pressure, so it's dragging in this cold air, this warm air on a southeasterly. And we are already in a pretty tragic state, pitiful amounts of rainfall over the summer. We're into the seventh consecutive weeks with no rain at all over some southern and southeastern areas. The ground looks scorched just about everywhere you look. Lovely, of course, if you're on a beach holiday, but not so good elsewhere. And we had the tragic story of the New Forest, where obviously a van fire started a fire which then spread very rapidly. And 3 days later, they're still, attempting to control it. This is a situation very similar to what we see abroad, where they build fire breaks into or close to residential areas and close to areas of forestry to make sure that that doesn't happen. But of course, we're not used to it. Well, we have to get used to it in the future. Well, quite possibly the climate is changing. There is no doubt about that. So we've had this very hot summer. We're looking at temperatures peaking a Thursday or possibly Friday down in the southeast. Meanwhile, it will become cooler elsewhere. But will that cool weather last? Because that one area of high pressure currently drifting out into the North Sea will be replaced by another, which originally will start up in the west. So it'll bring a cooler northwesterly flow. But it only takes for that to drift eastwards and it'll start pulling up those extraordinary warm temperatures from Europe, which over the next few days look set to hit around 41 degrees Celsius. We talked about the drought. Yes, we are vastly lacking in rainfall. Currently, reservoirs are running to about 69%. Now, actually, that's not quite as low as last year, but it's certainly a lot lower than we'd like it. And there are several reservoirs which are exceptionally low. You can also talk about watercourses in the same way, and the fact that extraction licenses have been revoked. So we've got this combined issue of, very high temperatures, not a lot of rainfall, and no ability to take water from anywhere that we might usually do in such an emergency.